Hello, and welcome to the Kingston Grammar School podcast. With the school motto of work well and be happy ever present in all aspects of the curriculum and co-curriculum, Kingston Grammar School is one of the most successful co-educational schools in the UK. I'm your host, Shannon Delwish, and regardless of how you came to find us, I hope you learn a bit about Kingston Grammar School while you're here, and I know that as one of our listeners, you will quickly start to feel more a part of the inclusive KGS community. We're pleased to welcome you. This episode shines a spotlight on the renowned Drama and Theatre Department at KGS, which offers a wealth of opportunities for students of all ages and interests.
There are junior plays, senior play and the middle school play, which I've always auditioned for and often got into. It's just always been something which is like a big part of my life, but not just in the sense where it's like another subject for me to do. Like there's so much co-curricular stuff that you can take part in. Starting first year, I always took part in house drama events. And so now in sixth form, I was able to direct it this year. You're always learning about how to work with a team and how to communicate properly with other people, really. So that's like another skill that I'll definitely be able to take away from drama as I grow up.
For those seeking experience in acting, directing, producing, and across all technical theatre and design, students not only make strides to develop their skills, but also grow to be critical and engaged theatre producers and consumers. The remarkably high production standards would be obvious if you've been fortunate enough to have seen any of Kingston Grammar School's full-scale productions. But behind all of the blood, sweat, and tears of the students is the blood, sweat, and tears of the drama department faculty. This morning we have Headmaster Stephen Lehec, Richard G., the Director of Drama, and Stephen Kennedy, Actor in Residence, talking to us about the drama department at KGS. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
It's nice to have you all in our pop-up studio. We're going to talk a bit about the history of the KGS Drama Department, where you are now, what you're hoping for the future. But for now, I'd just like to get to know Richard and Stephen a bit. Yeah, let's start with Stephen Kennedy.
I'm an actor. I've been an actor since I was 22 years of age. I went to a school in Dublin called the Gaiety School of Acting and just started out in the National Theatre of Ireland, worked there for years, then went to the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and have stayed in London ever since.
So it's home.
It's very much home, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. For those, how many years is that now? I'm 51, my word, 30 years. It's been mostly theatre. I've been lucky enough to work in movies as well and television. And I'm in The Archers on BBC Radio 4. I've been doing that for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there anything about you that students might be surprised to hear?
As much as I obviously love acting and whatever else, I've loved this more at times. I've absolutely loved this more. I'm very lucky. I get to do one-on-one with students over weeks on end. You get to know them. So maybe that, I adore it. Even my husband, my family, they're going, you're absolutely loving this, aren't you? And I was going, yeah. And most of them, to my surprise, were going, that's what you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that.
I'm sure that if you have that passion, they probably know that then. I've spoken to a few students and one of your scholarship students. That's the highlight of her kind of
They
experience.
certainly do. I mean, they love their sessions with Stephen. And it's that thing of having quality time with them one-to-one, which we as teachers don't really get because we're trying to teach lots of classes and do lots of marking. But
sure.
I think you're right. You really get a special relationship.
Richard, can you just tell us a bit about your background before you came to KGS and kind of your involvement with drama outside of KGS?
I went to university, studied English and drama, then decided that I wanted to be an actor and then did a 2-year course at Lambda and then got an agent and kind of plodded along doing a few acting jobs. I was quite fortunate at the start of my acting career that I did work for probably about 2 years consistently. Mm-hmm. But then, the new blood comes through the drama schools and suddenly you've got to kind of fight a bit more for the parts. And then I got to the age of 30 and one of my friends said, I'm thinking of training to be an English teacher. I think you'd really enjoy it, Richard. And then the first school that I got actually required a drama teacher. So I took on a lot of the drama and immediately felt very at home kind of doing that. And then, joined KGS 4 years ago and loved every minute, really. Loved every minute. They learn from first year, age 11, the etiquette of theatre. I think that's what we're really good at. They learn quite quickly about all these things that they probably didn't even imagine happened in theatre before they get cast in something.
Yeah.
But those skills are transferable to so many things in terms of listening, collaborating, and just understanding the etiquette of how things work. When I joined the school, I didn't really even understand what an actor in residence was. And then obviously met Stephen, and my predecessor talked through what happens at KGS. And I was just bowled over, really, by what KGS does offer in terms of drama. So we've just done Made in Dagenham, which was an amazing show.
It was amazing.
We had 15 students backstage helping with sound, lighting, stage management, props.
Made in Dagenham is a great example. It's our most recent kind of senior play. Obviously, it's a musical. People are familiar with it. Hard-hitting themes, quality, rights. So challenging for, even senior students to take on in terms of the period of time, the language, the themes that were in there.
And for me, what happened as well, is it okay to mention Lara?
Of course.
Well, purely because we had Lara in it who played Rita, and Lara hadn't done any, she's not a scholar, and all of a sudden you seen this girl singing, and so her journey throughout Made in Dagenham is finding a voice.
Oh, the character's journey.
The character's journey. So her big song at the end is Stand Up, and you see Lara standing up and singing and finding a voice, and I think that's kind of what we do you know what I mean, through drama. Everything that was happening in that play at the time was astonishing. You'd say something to a student or whatever, and then you'd hear that being passed on to someone else, So the collective responsibility for that show was just mind-blowing. Amazing.
It was an example of two different departments coming together, music and drama. And I think for about 3 weeks before the opening night, there were probably 4 different rehearsal spaces after school. There was choreography, singing, soloists, acting. And I kind of wish I'd taken a video of just all that going on, because that's what a school is all about, isn't it? Just all coming together.
It was just something else. It was more sort of commitment than, lots of times when I work professionally. And the collaboration was phenomenal.
One of the elements of collaboration that I like is how many students come to watch the play to see their friends perform, which is why we have to run it over, 4 nights. Plus there's a kind of a tech where we invite other people to come and watch it. And actually, they really do want to come and support their friends. But it kind of engenders a love of theatre for and performance and art amongst all of these students. There are people who audition but maybe don't get a part this time round or don't get the part they want. They're still very supportive, hugely so, and they want to see it and they want to encourage their friends and they want to understudy or support them with rehearsing their lines. So it gets everybody involved, which is incredible.
Well, yeah, we were speaking about that with some of the students about just these life skills, like soft skills. Don't you just hate that phrase? Because it makes it seem like they're less important. Yeah. They are really the core of being. And we were talking about how just being involved in the theater and drama department gives you these skills like empathy, whether you go on to be a scholar or have a career in theater, things about relating to people and identifying your emotions and being able to name them and process them is our life really important.
Courage. Do you know what I mean? In some way, hopefully, you kind of take the fear away from a student and allow them to be courageous, even in terms of going, what do you think your ideas are about that line? Or what do you think your ideas are about that word? Because lots of times you do that. Or I'd still do it and I'll go, I don't quite know. And you have ideas in your head. You're just afraid to say.
Right.
But it's fundamentally that all the time. I kind of go, please just speak whatever's here.
And I can't really think of any other subject where one lesson you might be sitting down listening to me about how to structure an essay. Yeah. And then the next lesson, I might be asking you to write 10 lines of a monologue. You've got to have trust in each other. Students have trust in the teacher. When I first trained, I watched a lot of drama teachers and I thought, why are they spending so much time playing silly games? And actually, I realised that, yes,
it's because they're enormous fun, Richard.
It's because they're enormous fun, but you need that element of fun and games for the children in the class to feel comfortable with one another and with me. We've just changed the set text at GCSE, used to be The Crucible, which is a brilliant play, but a little bit kind of dated in terms of how the students access it. And we've changed it to a play called Things I Know to Be True, which deals with family and grief.
Right.
But about 2/3 of the way through the play, there's a character who reveals to his parents and his whole family that he's transgender. And the students were absolutely incredible in how they responded to this character, but also how they talked amongst themselves about him and about what he was going through and about how people might perceive him. And I thought it's a credit to how mature they dealt with it.
And theatre just attacks those issues. Theatre has always, I think, amongst all of the arts, taken these things kind of head on. and said, let's discuss it, let's put it out there.
It's incredible that there's a school with those facilities, just as you say, because you have an arena for that debate to take place. And when you're having the debate at that age, surely that accelerates learning.
Yep.
It has to.
It is a portrayal of real life.
Yes. Yes. In fact, Richard, do you want to just give us an overview of the department and what you do have? I know that there's an amazing auditorium.
So we have the Michael Frayn Theatre, so Michael Frayn, a KGS alumni, and that is a flexible space, seats about 200, but we can have it in the round or traverse. And we have an amazing lighting, sound facilities. We also have a studio space where we do a lot of choreography, dance, smaller productions, and we have a green room. We also teach in there, but also kind of use as backstage area. And we have a department of 3 full-time teachers, but then we have Stephen looking after the scholars, and we have a technical team as well.
Actually having an actor in residence, we're very lucky. We feel very fortunate to have Stephen and to have that input, as well as a strong department, with Richard, Stuart, Meg, Camille, who have I left out, Jen, Danny, so we've got a team, the backstage team, the kind of front of house team, the teaching team, the sport team, the scholarship team. Stephen is the scholarship team.
So when can you start expressing interest as a student in the scholarship program? And then once you get in, if you're lucky to get in, what does that entail? What does that involve?
Getting in is audition.
So towards the end of GCSE, it's a combination of auditioning, but also us as teachers having recognised people that have made a huge contribution to the school, but also are doing very well.
Yeah.
So I would rely heavily on Stuart and Richard for that, because they obviously get to know the students from an earlier age, and then I get to meet them or I get to see them in a school performance.
So it's not just one audition and you decide. It's a cumulative.
Yeah,
it's an evolution. It's a whole process, which is only slightly more difficult for people coming from outside KGS. So we might take up a reference, do an audition, chat to you about what your motivation is. So you can get a scholarship in drama as an external student coming to KGS for the sixth form. But clearly the students that are in the school already, we just know that little bit more about their motivation. Yeah. So you just need to be prepared as an external student coming in to tell us a bit more.
I just wanted to ask, what do you wish you had been taught when you were younger that you're hoping to pass along as teachers?
At the school I went to, I had a fantastic drama teacher who is still teaching drama. He's head of drama at Warwick School, actually, now. And I suppose I thought about what kind of teacher I wanted to be, and I thought back to Mr. Perry and what he was like. And yes, someone who you felt like, yes, was a teacher, but also someone that you could easily kind of talk to about any issues you had.
For me, it's just the achieving it is much closer than you might think. When I was doing my A-level theatre studies, it always seemed like I was just going to be doing A-level theatre studies. That was it.
Right.
And I would do something else with my A-level theatre studies, but not theatre itself.
It's hard to envision the future.
Yeah. It's all part of the facilities we have here. People coming in and going to see theatre that's close at hand. It all makes it seem really achievable. And also, as you, as an individual, that like you're enough. That's it. Your approach to any kind of bit of art or whatever, other people will steer you and help you and give you guidance. But just express yourself, do it.
Yeah.
And have confidence in doing it. It's a lot of hard work, but the rewards are amazing.
And I think, students probably don't remember that much about their chemistry GCSE or their biology A-level, but they will remember their performances and their devising they did it in drama.
It's not just when you remembered something and you had to implement it, you actually grew as a person.
Yeah,
the story you told about Lara.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else.
It is amazing. Well, it's a time in your life when you are having these leaps of growth too, and to be able to kind of articulate them in a way very healthy and advantageous.
And every time you see the penny drop with a student about a certain thing is fantastic. You sit and look at it and you feel it and you go, that worked. And then you yourself as a teacher get confident with, passing that on again and again and again.
I think I've learned over the years as a teacher the power of praise and the power of kind of affirmation for a student that, sometimes the students might have been thinking that they've wanted to do drama for years and years but haven't been brave enough to do it. But just having someone who says, you should audition for this, you're really good, it gives students that power to have a go.
My name is Holly. I am in year 13, it's my last year at KGS, and I'm studying drama, English and Spanish. I started from year 7 when it was compulsory, and then I made the decision at GCSE to keep it going because I realised how much fun I was having and how passionate I was about everything that it was offering for me. And then recently in sixth form, I became a scholar. So I've been working with the actor in residence, Stephen, which has been really beneficial. So once a week, me and then another girl, we have sessions with him where we really delve deeper into the meaning behind scripts and the characters that we're playing. And then the plays have also been a huge part of my drama experience. I've been involved in almost all the plays and they've been so much fun and I've made friends and they've made me also realize how passionate I am about acting and how I'm really interested to do it in the future. By doing all these plays and getting stuck into everything that drama has to offer, you gradually become a much more kind of excited and enthusiastic character, and I think in that way drama's been really beneficial.
I'm Florence, I'm in upper sixth and I'm studying drama, English and politics. The big dream would be acting professionally. That's what I've always wanted to do, and I would love to be able to do that. Also, I've been looking at the creating of theatre as a whole, which I think is something that before coming to KGS and before doing like the proper devising works in the GCSE and A-level, I was more like, oh, I want to act, that's what I want to do. But now I realise that the whole like storytelling and all of that, there's so much more that can be done from behind the scenes or in other aspects of it. The tiny thing, like going into a school play audition or maybe emailing a drama teacher or going to read a play can really make a huge difference. So I think just always take the shot, even if it's scary. It's just that perseverance and that trying, and you never know what could happen.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Kingston Grammar School podcast. Join us next week when we begin a 2-part series on EDI, or Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, within KGS. We kick off this series by hearing from key faculty Sarah Humphrey, Deputy Head Pastoral, Casey Beckford, Race Equality Ambassador, and Headmaster Lehec. Special thanks to our guests in this episode, Richard G., Director of Drama, Actor in Residence Stephen Kennedy, and Headmaster Stephen Lehec. We would like to hear from you. Get in touch to tell us what you're enjoying about the podcast and join other listeners in suggesting topics which you'd like to learn more about. You can email us at podcast@kgs.org.uk. And there are endless platforms on which you can access this podcast: Spotify, Apple, Acast, Amazon, SoundCloud, or YouTube for starters. So please recommend this podcast to friends and family, as it is so easily accessible to any and everyone. And remind them it's free. Oh, and follow, download, or subscribe to the series, and do take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It takes but a moment, and it makes a huge difference to us because it makes us more visible for those who are searching for us. Thank you also to Allison Williams, Director of Marketing and Admissions at Kingston Grammar School. This has been an Applied Reality production, produced by Shannon Vandermark, sound designed by Alex Marcoux.